All right, everybody, we are here with another funded trader, Ruben. Welcome to the Funded Trader YouTube page for another interview. So we are going to run through, we did an interview recently with Ruben. We're going to do a little more in-depth look at his strategy. For you guys that don't know, that are just finding us for the first time on YouTube, this is the Funded Trader. We are a funding company that funds our serious traders who pass our two-step evaluation. And once you pass, we give you a funded account. So Ruben is a funded trader. How's it going today for you?
Hey, pretty good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for obviously hopping on again. I know we had spoken recently, and this one, like I said, we're going to get a little bit more in depth of your strategy. Maybe give us a little bit of overview of the strategy, where you learned from. You know, if you're part of a group or anything like that.
Yeah, so we are a group of three. We came from a community. The community is called Guerrilla Trading. We just trade pure price action, no indicators, and we focus just on a 1 hour time frame.
That's interesting. So only on the 1 hour.
Yeah, that's all we focus on. I would like to say that we're more like, we focus heavily on data. So we back test several years. So for example, we trade 4 pairs right now, and each pair we trade on data that we have from 2018 to current. So we log every trade that we can get from there to now, and then we review each play and see what qualities are good and what are not, and we build a trading plan based on that.
What pairs do you look at?
Currently, we have 4. We have AU and EU as our main pairs, and as our cross pairs, we have AJ and EJ.
Nice. So when you're going through the backtesting, that's something inside of like the Forex League program that we're big on, the backtesting as well. What, I guess, when you're setting up the backtest and you're going through that many years of data, is there a specific way that you go about backtesting? You know, how do you kind of set it all up?
Well, it's all logged, and we like to use data sheets. So pick your poison, Excel or Google Sheets, and we log all trades based on date, drawdown, and result. From there, we compile them all, and then once we have all the data compiled, that's when we begin the sorting process.
Do you do all this on TradingView?
Oh yes, we only use TradingView to actually find the place by doing bar by bar replay.
Okay.
But everything gets logged into the Excel sheets from there.
Yeah, for those that don't know, on TradingView, there is a replay tool where you can go back in time. You can go back pretty much as far as you like to. One comment on that is if you are going back to a period of time that shows that there's not any previous data, just use the bar replay tool to go all the way back to the point at which is the end, and then it'll actually populate more data to the left of that as well. But yeah, so if you guys don't know much about backtesting or haven't backtested, as you can see, it seems like backtesting is a big part of your strategy and kind of, you know, leading up to actually being confident in your trading plan.
Yeah, I would say that the entry is not really the important part of it. It's knowing why the entry works, and for that you need data.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. So for those that you know, still are unsure of their entries, or if you want to just improve, you know, your entries and whatnot, backtesting is the answer. You know, you're hearing it from a profitable trader with Ruben. You know, he clearly is successful, and the first thing that comes from him is that, you know, is backtesting. So that is interesting. It's good to obviously hear that from you as well. One other question that I had was, how long would you say it takes for you to make a decision on actually entering into the market? So it's like, do you mark up the charts the night before? Do you mark it up on Sunday? You know, how do you go about doing that?
So I typically do what they call the forecast, which is where I look at the charts and I kind of get an idea of what happened. Usually I do this when I wake up and right before I go to bed. The reason for this is when I wake up, you know, I'm asleep, so I haven't been able to keep up with the charts. And before I go to bed, I do it so that if I do need to wake up during the night, if I see something potentially set up, I can have alarms so that, you know, I can wake up if I really wanted to or not. Other than that, during the day, it's just at the top of every hour. I only need about 5 minutes to look at the charts. If I see something that meets my trading plan, all it takes is a minute or two to execute, and that's pretty much it.
Nice. So it seems like you check frequently, but you don't spend too much time on the charts because you kind of have all the levels marked up, and you're just kind of waiting for that execution.
Yeah, exactly. So everything, most of my trading, I would say 80% is done on my phone. Since I only read price action, I don't have any zones, levels, or anything like that. I just keep a track of the most current high or low that's been broken, and then from there I just execute.
Now, are you doing this full time, or do you have a job simultaneously to do it?
No, I do this full time now.
Okay, okay, that's important. So, what sessions? It sounds like you're trading really multiple sessions throughout the day.
Yeah, so our backtesting doesn't really account for sessions or time of trading. So we just go based on the current price action and its momentum.
Okay, so that's important to note on. Well, why don't we dive in a little bit onto the charts if you can? Let's
Sure.
take a look at how you break things down a little bit, and yeah, let's go ahead and jump over.
Yeah, I can actually walk you through the last two trades that I taken yesterday and I think 2 days ago.
Yeah, that'd be good. We'll just go through some of the trades that you got on.
All right, perfect. As you can see, we have AJ. As you can see, this is what I look at all the time. I don't have any indicators. I don't have any levels marked out, but for the sake of the, I guess the explanation, I will add some lines so you guys can see it. So we'll start, the actual trade that happened was here. So let's start a little bit further back.
Yeah, just like take us through the entire, process of you were looking for this,
Mhm.
this happened, and then this is the execution.
Sure. So currently, I'm just gonna give you a bit of an aid and mark what I usually look at. So as I can see here, this is my current high and low. So from here, we had an impulse to the downside on the 1 hour. And normally, if we would have been going further behind, I would have told you that I wasn't looking for an entry here. But since we picked this particular point in time, we're just going to move forward. So from here, we're just waiting for the high of the low to break. So as you can see, we just broke the high. So in this case, we would move our highs and lows to the most recent ones, and then we wait. So since the break was very small, I'm really not interested in this. I want to see momentum in a play. So at this point in time, I'm still waiting. I'm just waiting to see if the momentum followed through or not. But since we're seeing a break and retrace, we can see from the price action that there's really no momentum going to the upside. So I'm not interested to go to the upside right now. So we're just going to wait. You can see we had a retrace, no current break of the lower high. And we just keep on going. So nothing. And now we had a break. Okay. So now we had a break, and I'll mark where the current high was so you guys have an idea. I don't know if you can see that color. Red seems good. Okay, cool. So we did break. So now we moved our highs and lows, and we have a recent here. So far, we see no momentum, so there's no interest in going long or short. At this point in time, we can see a second follow through on the hourly candle. Now, at this point in time, we can clearly see that we broke out of this section, and we have clear momentum. So at this point in time, I would wait for the pretest. So here I would have a pending order with a preset stop loss. And now we wait.
Now, how are you
So
determining the stop loss, the size?
again, we checked from historical data, we take the average stop loss that worked for us, and then we just pick it from there. So each pair is different. Some pairs, the stop loss might be as low as 10, others might be as high as 15. It all depends on each pair's characteristics.
Okay.
So as we see the impulse is continuing, we are seeing that it's still pushing to the upside. And now we've had our first counter trend. Now, the play is valid up until we break this high. We break this high, then I remove my pending order, and we just continue and see how it develops. So as we can see, came back down. We touch our area of interest, and now we would have been in this trade. So now we move on to the managing side of things. My management mode is that every time we break the high, in this case for a long, it's when I move my stops to the most recent low at the time. So I'll show you how that goes in a second. So as we can see, we clearly broke. And our lows would have been here. And I move my lows just below, accounting a little bit for spread. So say, give or take a pip or two. So now as we can see, the play continues. And now we had a break of the high, which means we move. Well, I would have, I'm moving my highs and lows for you, but I would have just kept a mental note of what it is.
Mm.
And now I can move my stops into profit here. So now as we can see with a stop loss of, there we go. Now at this point in time, this is locked in. And now we just continue to wait. If the play continues, obviously we bank in more profit, but as you can see, we just got stopped out. So this was an actual trade that I took, and it happened earlier this morning, but that is pretty much the general idea of the way that I trade.
Nice. Yeah, I can actually see that trade. See that trade as well. Nice. So one question I have is, how do you determine originally that high point? So basically, like what your target is.
I don't have a target, like I said. I just trail the stops based on the next break. So if this play would have not broken and would have come back out, it would have taken me out for my reduced loss. So I don't have a traditional take profit like most people do.
Mhm.
So I just kind of follow the trend. If the trend gives me 7-8%, that's fine. But on cross pairs like EJ, it is not uncommon to go all the way up to 7 and then come back down to break even. But again, because of the way that I trade, I don't move stops until I have a break.
Now, using this strategy, like what is your average risk reward per trade?
I would say on average, depends on the pair, but cumulatively, I would say it's maybe a 3.54.
Yeah, that's good. So you're using mostly limit orders with this.
Yes, and it's all for the retest, so it will be limit orders on this.
Okay. How long would you say it took you to figure out like this strategy to find this one? How many did you kind of go through before you got to this?
I'll be honest, the team that I started with, we almost started day one. I was fortunate enough to find them on that community that I mentioned.
Hmm.
And we found each other within a week. So we realized that we had similar goals, we had similar schedules, so we were able to devote 8 to 10 hours to this for 10 months straight. And I would say it was 10 months of learning and then about 2, 3 months of actually being in the market until I got to this level. In reality, I can say I've been consistent for about maybe the start of this year, but it took me that long to be able to say that I got to this point.
Yeah, those are some great results in a really short amount of time. At the end of the day, there's some people going on for years and years and years and still struggling, a little bit. I think I've heard of the group that you do trade with, and that's, it just shows that if you obviously get the education from the right source, the right people, that you're gonna be effective, you're gonna be profitable. But to me, the biggest thing that I'm hearing from you is the back testing, right?
Yeah,
Looking at your
definitely.
results, and do you back test? So do you take notes, like journal all of these trades that you're taking in the forward test as well? Would you say? Or
Yes. So we do have weekly meetings where we assess each trade that we took and if it meets our plan. It kind of helps us keep accountable because, like this business is emotional a lot. We sometimes tend to act on. We try not to act on emotion, but we're human, so it happens. So having that accountability group lets me keep my head in the game and not stray because there will be losing streaks. As you know, like it doesn't matter how good you are, you will have a losing streak eventually, and it's how you handle that losing streak. So having a group has really helped me keep my head level in that aspect.
is this the first funded account that you've gotten?
No, I do have another FTMO funded account that I got back in March. So this would be the second.
You said you had potentially like another setup that you wanted to go through.
Yeah, I can. This one happened previously on AU. I can show you.
Yeah, I can see. I've just got your dashboard up here. Maybe afterwards you can pull it up. But I see this AJ trade. You had like about 10 lots on. You had it's like basically like a 4-to-1 trade.
Yeah, it was AU. I think. Yeah, the AJ that I just showed you was the one that's like a 3.7 something
Yeah.
ratio. That's at least that latest one that I have. That's the one that I just showed you.
Yep. Yeah, I see that one on here. So let's take a look. What else you got?
All right, so AU. So same deal. I'll draw you the lines just so you guys can keep a kind of a handle of what I'm seeing. So once again, we can clearly see we're in a range. We've been sideways for a while. So at this point in time, my plan just tells me to be patient, wait for some sort of confirmation of an entry. This is AU, so we know that AU loves to trend. So seeing it sideways doesn't really tell me anything right now, except that I don't want to be in the market.
Mm.
I think this was news, obviously, now as we can see from the candle. Yeah, but we can see from the hour chart that this was news. We see it whip up, come back down.
Yeah, I think
So
following
all kinds
that,
of volatility.
I think following that event you brought up, there was another red folder or something going on.
Yeah, there's again, we don't trade any news, but from our charts, we've learned to see where we have volatility, which usually indicates a news event.
Mhm.
So again, we're just kind of waiting here, nothing really concrete. So now at this point in time, once again, we can move our highs and lows to this point.
Now, what is that? You have like an indicator on there that just shows when the session ends for the day?
Oh, this is just under settings, session breaks on the appearance.
Okay.
It's just so I have an idea of when spread hours are.
Yeah.
Usually I am not involved during spread hours because you know the spread's large in, especially on exotic pairs, cross pairs. We can see upwards of 20 pips sometimes. So I definitely do not want to be involved during that time.
Mhm.
So once again, we can see that we're not really showing any momentum. We are breaking with wicks. We now did see a good solid push down, but seeing as how we've been breaking or retracing, we just had news. I'm really not interested to go short unless I see one more follow through here. But as you can see, we just turn around right back into the range. So now here we go. Based on my data, I know that this move, even though the break was small and quite aggressive, you can see it's less than what a few pips.
Mhm.
We know that this setup is highly profitable. So in this point, I was willing to be really aggressive. We can see here through the price action that we've tried several times to break this range, and we clearly have not been able to. So we obviously have a lot of liquidity pulled up here. So
Mhm.
this move can be interpreted as just a tap into the section, and now we're probably ready to move to the upside. Well, at least the probability of it is higher.
Mhm.
So with that being said, a limit order comes in. Same thing. And now we wait. So as you can see, we're in. So now we move again into the management side of things. We don't adjust any stop loss until we have a retrace and a break of the current high. So as we can see, we're going. And at this point, we still have full 1% risk on the table. Now we had a pullback, which means we're not just waiting for the break of this high. So now we've broken this high. And now we would have moved our stops about 2 pips below this current high. And we continue. Now at this point in time, we have had a pullback. So we're just waiting, broke the current high. And now we can once again move our stops around 2 pips below that. And we just continue to trail this. And as you can see, I think it danced around for a little bit here, and then we were taken out. As you can see, we did break the high here, but because we were already so close, there was no point in moving the stop, so we just left them there.
Mhm.
And then ultimately, we did get taken out. So in this trade, it was a 429, and that was the second trade that I took.
Yep. Yeah, I can see both of those trades up here on the dashboard. You think you could actually pull up your dashboard real quick? We take a look at it.
All right, here we go. Here's the dashboard.
Yeah, so you're up about 11 grand right now, 11.7.
Mhm.
And you've taken what, about 21 trades. So how many trades do you take really per week or per day?
Honestly, I don't know. I do have an average per month. I can take anywhere between, I would say, 15 to 20 trades. So this is definitely on a little bit on the high side, but we're almost done with the month. So it's about average.
So you're taking pretty much anywhere from like 1 to 2 trades a day.
Uh, yeah, sometimes even more, but yeah, that's an average.
Nice. So you can see the win rate. The win rate isn't great, but the risk reward is really good, which is what matters.
Yes, actually, because this account is new, this win rate is actually a little bit inflated. Because we backed it so much, we actually know that my average win rate is about 40%. So as I trade more, I'm sure this will adjust to reflect that a little bit more. But as you mentioned, the risk reward makes up for that.
Yep. Yeah. If you're shooting for 3 to 1s, 4 to 1s, your win rate doesn't have to be really above 40% at the end of the day.
Mhm.
So that's super interesting. Why don't you hop into the trade history because or the account history because you could actually see the two trades that Ruben's talking about in here. He's got the one on AU and then yeah, the one on AJ. That one's from today.
Yep. So there's the AJ trade that I was talking about. And then on page number 2, you can see the AU trade here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait, that was
these two above that. Yeah, so it's that buy
yeah.
on AU. Yeah, and then if you scroll over, you've got the went for about like a 4 point, like you said, 4.7 risk reward, about like 4,900 bucks on that.
Yep.
And you've
And yeah, as
only
you can see, there are losses. I think these two sells were a loss, but that's just probabilities playing themselves out.
yep, and you've had the account now for what, like about a week or not even?
I started on the 15th, so we are what, 2 3 weeks in? I think no, 2 weeks in.
Oh, so yeah, you actually have had the account a little bit longer than I
Mhm.
thought. So yeah, what are your goals moving forward? Obviously you got 2 weeks kind of left until your withdrawal, to your profit split. What kind of goals you have in mind from here on out?
Well, the original goal was to have the buffer set up. I wanted at least a 5% buffer, which is always going to stay in the account just to account for any drawdowns that I have. So at
Mhm.
this point, I've met that. This point is just to keep on trading like I usually do. You get a few more accounts after the first payout, and so one account buys the other, and then just keep on scaling up.
That's amazing, man. Well, to me, this is incredible to see because you clearly have the right approach when it comes to trading. I mean, the back testing is everything. You're very calm, and you have a legitimate plan. That's where that confidence kind of comes from. You know what I mean? There's no guesswork. At the end of the day, if you know what your probabilities are, if you know what the back testing, what your numbers should be coming in at your win rates, where your
Yep.
entry should be, everything like that. There's nothing really to doubt at the end of the day. One last thing I want to comment on: we all know there obviously are always going to be psychological things that come up emotionally, whatever. How do you kind of handle that and really stick to your plan here?
So actually, since starting trading, we've gotten heavily involved with psychology. We take a lot of material from poker because poker actually translates really well to us as traders. In poker, you can make all the right choices, but you can still have a bad outcome. Same as trading. You can have the most perfect analysis, you can have a sniper entry, but then there's a liquidity grab, and boom, you're out. Nothing you could have done about that.
Mhm.
So how poker players manage their losses and expectations actually helps us a lot as traders. So we've taken a lot of material from poker, and actually one of my team members is a semi-professional poker player. So he's really helped us out to kind of ground ourselves and manage our expectations, both when we're having a winning streak, because that can lead to overconfidence, or when we're having a losing streak, which can lead to over leverage.
How many challenges did you take before you passed and got funded?
Well, with you guys, it was the first one that I took. With FTMO, I did fail 2 challenges before that.
Mhm.
So I took 2 challenges early of beginning of the year, and I failed both of those. And then on the third one is when I actually passed.
Now, being that you've obviously gone through the feelings of failing a challenge, passing a challenge, now being funded, what advice do you kind of have for people that are in that same boat that haven't broken through yet?
I would say that as long as you have a solid plan that you can trust, you need to understand that sometimes the probabilities just don't play out. I can tell you that I was trading the exact same way that I was trading here. It was just a matter of, you never know when that 10% month it's going to be there, which is what you need for a challenge. So that was the only thing. Have a plan, trust your plan, and then the rest is just going to be probabilities.
Yep. Now, do you teach other students? How can other people, if they want to reach out to you, get involved with you? Is that something that you're interested in doing actively right now?
Well, I've just recently found consistency, but I would like to get back to the community at some point. I do have an Instagram where if people reach out and ask questions, I help them out to the best of my ability. But I feel like I'm not at a point in my career where I can actually take a group and mentor them. Maybe in a couple years down the line, I can do that. But for now, usually what I do is I answer to the best that I can. And if it's something that I can, I usually send them out to the group that I learned from.
Yeah, and we'll put your contact info down below. So if anyone wants to get in touch with Ruben, you'll be able to get in contact with him. And at the end of the day, it helps Ruben grow. If you're a struggling trader and reach out to him and he can, communicate some lessons to you, it just reinforces what he knows and helps him achieve that level of mastery that he's shooting for. So we can't thank you enough, obviously, for giving us a try. I mean, we're a new prop firm, up and coming, certainly, but definitely still working out some of the kinks here. And we have huge plans for the future, obviously. But it's people like you, all around the world that are interacting and using our platform that is ultimately what's going to make us successful and provide more opportunities to other traders. So, there any last words from you for anyone out there in the community?
No, I mean, it's the experience here has been great so far. I know you guys are just starting out, but improvements of the dashboard have been coming out fast and easy. I know now you guys automate everything, so I'm really glad I gave you guys a try. And I just anybody that wants to give it a try, I would say go ahead. And again, since you're going to plug in my information, I'm more than happy to answer any questions, and hopefully I can grow with you guys, in the near future.
Cool. Well, thanks so much, Ruben. We look forward to your continued success.
All right, thank you.